I explained to you before some details in Agenda 21. This is called revanchism.
How are you doing, my family? Welcome again to Direct TV2, bringing to you the truth. Welcome, guys, to this special and wonderful episode of my video today. And right in today's video, guys, I'm here with the man of God by person of the highest esteemed Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakhilome DSCD. And in today's video, guys, the man of God, Reverend Dr. Chris, is going to be talking to us on the Agenda 21. All right. And this is not a recent video. This is a video, a communal service with the man of God November 2023. So he did say so many things which I did posted in my other channel, Direct TV. This is my second channel. So he said I posted some of those things, so you can go ahead and just watch. All right, but here he talked about Agenda 21, which he did explain. So I'd just like you to kindly watch this, guys, and I'll be right back with another video that will so bless you. I know what I'm talking about. So before we dive into the video, guys, for those of you coming new to my channel, kindly the subscribe button, subscribe, and then like today's video, guys. Watch this. I'll be right back.
I explained to you before some details in Agenda 21. Okay? And how, in fact, one of the things I told you about Agenda 21 that ratified Habitat 1, in which was the proposal for the dispossession of individual property. But the reason for all that, why do they want to take over lands and properties all over the world? Because I told you, Europe is broke. So all that dream is coming from there. See, this is called revanchism. That's what it is. It is the plan, the work, the effort to regain lost lands, lost properties. See, they controlled the whole world many, many years ago. And all these lands gained their independence. And they didn't mind because they knew what was going to happen, okay, as time progressed. So they had another plan to use economic colonization. And it worked for a long time, until many of those colonies got educated and became wise and decided to own their property. And so they come through the back door with this globalization ideology. And I told you, globalization is a euphemism for colonization. So the guy that has something very little tells the other guys that have a lot, let's all own together. And they are more powerful militarily. And they come up with an idea that you should demilitarize. Okay? And so these nations will agree to cancel their armies and put their defense in the hands of those who want everything that belongs to them. That is very interesting. Reminds me of another tortoise story. They said the lion called for a party, and all of them were invited. All the animals were invited. When tortoise was invited, he said, I will go later. So he decided to go later. As he was going, he noticed that no footprint, no reverse footprint. All the footprints went that way. He said, by now, some should have been coming from there. Since no one's coming from there, all those who went to visit the lion, no one came back. He said, it's a dangerous place. You see, he was smart enough to not go because there were no footprints of those returning. I wonder what stories you were told when you were a kid. So get wise, Africa. Get wise, Asia. And get wise, many of you in Europe and the United States. That's why you have to know who comes into office and so on and so forth, how you should pray. These things are important. How do you pray? What hopes do you have?
Alright, my family, there you have it with the man of God, Reverend Dr. Chris. But I got another video for you during the Global Day of Prayer or your Love session, from the 1st of July to the 7th. The man of God, Reverend Dr. Chris, together with the whole world, we're praying for the next 7 days, fasting and praying. So in one of those sessions, he talked about midnight prayer, and there's something he said that is very key, which I would love you to listen. Alright, because a lot of Christians doesn't even understand why they should pray in the night, but Pastor Chris said he will talk about it. But listen to what he said about midnight prayer. Alright, so before we dive into the video, guys, for those of you coming new to my channel, hit the subscribe button and like today's video, guys. Watch this, I'll be right back.
Cry out in the night, in the beginning of the watches. Pour out thine heart like water before the face of the Lord. Lift up thy hands toward him for the life of thy young children that faint for hunger in the top of every street. There is a secret about prayer that God's people have to understand. Here, they needed deliverance for their children. What did God say? He didn't say, shout aloud, then I will hear you. He says, shout, but there's more to be done. Look at it. Arise, cry out. When? In the night. Something about praying in the night. That's another secret. We're going to talk about that. All right? He didn't say every night, but there's something about, you have to understand, this is why walking with the Spirit, walking in the Spirit is so important. Listening to the Holy Ghost. Because sometimes they're going to tell you, you're going to have to do this in the night. He says, cry out in the night. In the beginning of the watches. That means in the night that he's talking about, it's not 10 p.m. The wee hours of the morning. In the beginning of the watches. Pour out thine heart like water before the face of the Lord. Then do what? Lift your hands. It says, lift your hands toward him for the life of thy children. For the life of thy children. Sometimes you find there's a child that's wayward. The devil has captured that child. You see that son or daughter is headed to hell. You're going to have to deal strongly and deliver your son or your daughter. You're going to have to pray. You're going to have to use these secrets of prayer. Sometimes it's sickness or disease that's taken over that child. And you have to deliver that one. You can't just be watching your son or your daughter dying. You're crying and praying and crying and praying. There is a secret in it. After 12 midnight, it says at the beginning of the watches, cry out in the night.
There you have it with the man of God.
In
by
the beginning of the
highly
watches,
Reverend
pour out
Dr.
thine
Chris
heart like
Oyakhilome,
water
DSCD, has
before
said
the face of
video.
the Lord.
I'm sure you were blessed
Lift
by
up
those
thy hands
things the man of God, Pastor
toward
Chris, said.
him
And you know,
for the
towards the last video,
life
the man of
of
God,
thy
Pastor Chris, talked about
young
midnight
children
prayer. Amazing.
that
So
faint
we are
for
all looking
hunger
forward to, you know,
in the
when you're
top
going
of
to
every
preach about it,
street.
because I'm surely going to
There
bring
is
it
a
to you,
secret
and I'm sure you're going to
about
be so
prayer
blessed. All
that
right.
God's people
But
have
some
to
of the things
understand.
Pastor have said in today's video, although I didn't bring the full video, but
They
in the
needed
previous video I
deliverance
posted
for
in my
their
other
children.
channel, which I would love you to come watch.
What did God say?
So
He
the
didn't
man of God,
say,
Pastor Chris, talk
shout
about
aloud,
you know, some certain
then I
things
will
that
hear you.
some nations need to
He
realize. All
says,
right, and this is
shout,
not
but
a
there's more
recent
to be
video,
done.
like I said. It's since
Okay,
November,
arise,
but you
cry
know, most
out.
of those people
When?
are still
In
working to
the
achieve
night.
their agenda even till today. So I would just like you
Something
to kindly
about
go to my other channel, Direct
something
TV,
about
and
praying
you
in
know,
the
watch the
night.
full
That's
video
another
there.
secret.
All right, or some of the
We're going
video
to
or
talk
part
about
of the
that.
video there. All right, and I'd love
Right?
to see my next video, guys.
I
So
didn't say every
before you
night,
go,
but
for those of you coming very new
something
to my
about
channel,
you have
please
to
kindly the
understand. This is
subscribe
why
button,
walking
subscribe
with
to
the
this channel.
Spirit,
We like today's video, guys.
walking
See you in my next
in the
video.
Spirit is
Bye.
so important.